Hello friends, my name is Ryan. I'm going to tell you a story named The Stephen Lawrence Case, a tragic tale of racism and justice, which is a very amazing story full of twists. So, let's start. It was a chilly evening in London, the kind where the air clung to your skin like a thin veil of mist. The streets were bustling as people hurried home, their silhouettes stretching under the dim glow of the streetlights. Among them was a young man named Stephen Lawrence. He was just 18, full of dreams and aspirations, eager to carve a future for himself. But that night, fate had different plans for him. Stephen and his friend, Dwayne Brooks, were waiting at a bus stop in Eltham, a quiet suburb in southeast London. They were chatting about their ambitions, about university, about life beyond their small corner of the world. But as they stood there, an eerie silence seemed to settle around them. And then, out of nowhere, a group of young men appeared from the shadows. What happened next was a moment frozen in time. A flash of movement, a barrage of hateful words, and then, violence. A brutal attack unfolded in the blink of an eye. Stephen, caught off guard, felt the sharp sting of a blade tearing through his skin. He stumbled, confusion clouding his mind. His attackers disappeared just as quickly as they had appeared, leaving him bleeding on the pavement. Dwayne screamed for help, his voice slicing through the night air. Stephen, despite his injuries, tried to run, his legs barely able to carry him. He made it a few hundred yards before he collapsed, his body succumbing to the pain. The life he had envisioned, the dreams he had cherished, they were slipping away with every passing second. The news of Stephen's murder sent shockwaves through the community. A young man, with no involvement in gangs, no history of violence, had been killed in cold blood. The only reason? The color of his skin. The attack was racially motivated, an act of pure hatred that shattered not just a family, but an entire nation's belief in justice. The police were called in, but from the very beginning, their response was flawed. Witnesses pointed fingers at a group of local white boys, known troublemakers with violent pasts. But instead of swift arrests, the authorities hesitated. They fumbled the investigation, lost crucial evidence, and worst of all, seemed indifferent to the suffering of Stephen's family. His parents, Doreen and Neville Lawrence, refused to let their son's death be another statistic. They demanded justice, but the road ahead was treacherous. The suspects walked free, smug in their belief that the system would protect them. And for a while, it seemed like they were right. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The Lawrence family fought relentlessly, challenging the police, demanding accountability. But the more they pushed, the more they uncovered the ugly truth: racism was embedded deep within the very institutions meant to serve and protect. Public outrage grew, newspapers picked up the story, and soon, protests erupted across the country. People of all backgrounds came together, demanding that Stephen's killers be brought to justice. The pressure mounted, and finally, after what felt like an eternity, the case was reopened. A new investigation was launched, and this time, they left no stone unturned. Forensic evidence, previously ignored, was re-examined. A single drop of Stephen's blood on one of the suspects' clothing became the key to unraveling the truth. The breakthrough led to the conviction of 2 of his attackers, decades after the crime had been committed. But the fight wasn't just about Stephen anymore. His case had exposed a larger issue: systemic racism within law enforcement. It led to the McPherson Report, a landmark document that acknowledged institutional racism in the police force, changing the way hate crimes were investigated in the UK. Even in death, Stephen's legacy lived on. His family established the Stephen Lawrence Charitable Trust, ensuring that young people, especially from minority backgrounds, had opportunities to pursue their dreams, something Stephen was denied. And so, my friends, this story is more than just a tragic tale. It is a reminder that justice is not given, it is fought for. That voices, when united, can shake the very foundations of society. Stephen Lawrence's name became a symbol of change, a name that will never be forgotten. So if this story moved you, if you believe that justice should never be delayed, then support the fight against racism, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel for more stories that shed light on the truth. Until next time, take care and stay vigilant.